broadly, we own about say broadly 65% of our portfolio. So give or take $80 billion. And that's invested for next 25, 30, 50, 60 years. So the adaptability and risk is a central embedded feature. So we have to, so what has happened is that when we look at embedded risk of a 30-year investment or a 35-year, 50-year, 60-year investment, then you look at all risks that can damage that investment, because we have U.S. private placement paper issued for 33 years. So somebody's got to pay them on year 33. And so the asset needs to be there, it needs to be performing. So there's a risk of adaptation and climate risk that we face. And so that gets embedded into the decision making. So what has happened is that in 2014, about 75% of our EBITDA at a portfolio level was coming from thermal coal mining assets. Today that number is, mining is less than 5% of our portfolio EBITDA. So in that sense, we are more compliant than probably outside of France, any EU country, I mean, if you count nuclear, with what targets we need to achieve with the Paris Accords. So that has happened because over the last 10 years, about 90% of our capex has gone into renewables, and broadly 3 areas. The grid stability, so evacuation, etc., which is Adani Energy Solutions, which is one of the sponsors here, and then green electron generation. And then the third element is the element of the Scope 1 and 2 emission reduction programs for various group companies. So that has meant the development of green hydrogen, ecosystem, etc. So those are 3 broad areas we invest in. And in the next 10 years, based on our current investment plan, we expect we will invest close to about, overall at a portfolio level, on current planning, we'll invest about 107 billion of equity. We expect these 3 areas, the green power, evacuation and grid solutions, electrons, green electrons, and green products, which will be green hydrogen, methanol, ammonia, and urea. These 3 will account for about 95 billion of the 107 billion. So practically all of our investments is in this area. And that is important for, and there's the related area of E to this, where we invest a lot, is on water neutrality. And one of the areas for India is water stress over the longer period of time. So equivalent, for example, Adani Renewables is the only large solar developer, I think, in the world, but certainly in our region, where we are net water positive for all operating assets. So the aquifer system, robotic cleaning, etc., in such a manner that the Adani Green and Adani Renewables uses less water than it can give back to the aquifers. And so the water is the other part, and the slight related part where we do invest a lot is the use of plastic. So we enforce a mandate across our portfolio companies that carry our brand that they have to be single-use plastic free. They are related threads in relation to our investment, but broadly speaking, for all practical purposes, about 95% of our investments in this area.